feel like you're the only one in the company who actually knows what's going on. Your team is disjointed, confused, you're unorganized, they're unorganized, and no one has really clear roles, responsibilities, or just a general process of how things should get done every day. I'm going to be sharing with you the four-part process that is going to change everything and get you finally organized inside your entire company. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the map process. So this is how to map out what's going on in your company, align your whole team so everyone's working on, the same page and in the right direction. Then how to prioritize so you're working on what matters and getting the biggest results as quick as possible. And then how to build the actual systems, processes and organization behind how everybody is managed inside your business. So at the end, your company is going to run smoother and you can stop being the bottleneck in your business. All right, so this maps process that I'm going to share with you, this is the easiest way I've found to quickly construction company that is a little unorganized. There's never really been some clear, processes or roles or clear definition of how the company is structured. And I go through this process very early with a lot of my clients and specifically on different systems and processes in their business to quickly get an idea of like how they're operating, get that documented, build the system, and bring organization to their organization. So definitely want to stay tuned here. Every step builds off the next one. So the first step is map. I know the acronym is MAPS, and I'm going to use MAP as my first one. But really, you need to know the playing field. You need to know what's going on. You need to build that map. And how do you do this? You are going to sit down with every employee. You could have an admin person that you kind of hand this off to, but probably unless you have a very large organization, you are the best suited to kind of sit down with each key employee or key role of employees and figure out what are they actually doing every day, how are they doing it, what's going on in your business. You're going to pretty much just ask them, what are all the tasks that you do every day? What do you feel that you're responsible for? And you're going to get specifically from your employees. So they're going to tell you, and you're going to quickly realize that you may think that their job or their role or what they're doing on a daily basis is completely different than what they think or what they're actually doing. An example of this is maybe you've got a site superintendent and you're going to ask them, what is all the tasks that you do in a day? You show up for site, you call the guys, you organize this, you check the schedules, you order materials, whatever it is. And then in each of those, write out the process. Okay, so you're calling to order materials. What do you do? Who do you call? All these things. And you're pretty much just doing a brain dump from the employee onto paper. You can record this as well now with AI note takers. You could just have like a Zoom call or something like that and have a recorder going in the background and then use AI to easily document everything that they're doing and sort of organize all those thoughts. But this is the first thing because often it happens a lot of times. I see this constantly. I've done this myself when I started, in construction, is you sort of build a business around people. So you need a project manager, you need maybe an estimator or an admin person. So you hire them, but you don't really have a clear role or tasks or duties for them. So it's sort of they just kind of start doing stuff and then you give them more things to do and they kind of you cater the role or the business to that person instead of having a specific role and then finding a person that fits that. So this helps kind of alleviate that and get organization from something that's probably just been sort of thrown together by hiring random people and hoping that they all work together. All right, so second step in this maps process is align. So now you've got a clear map of like what's all happening in your business. Now you need to align everybody and make sure you're all moving in the same direction. So this is going to be brainstorming with all the different people in your business, improvements, changes, figuring out. You're probably going to really like have clarity now that you've gone through this with your employees and realize that, hey, there's a much better way that we could be doing this, or maybe I think this is the way we should be doing it, but for some reason we started doing it this way because this person thought it was a good idea, or it just got kicked down the road, whatever it may be. So you're going to figure out what is the actual process and what is the best way to do these things. So you're going to have, site superintendent. This is kind of their all the tasks that they're doing you have written out, but how do you want those tasks done? And is this actually things that they should be doing. And you might find that there's overlap as well between maybe a superintendent and a project manager, or your estimator and your design team, or whatever, where people are kind of either doing double work, or there's miscommunication, or there's gaps that maybe things are missed or balls are getting dropped. And you start to realize, no wonder communication is bad here. No wonder no one's really been doing this and it's a mess. Or no wonder I'm so unorganized because I thought someone else was doing this, but really no one else is doing this and they think it's my responsibility, right? So you're going to figure all of that out and kind of get everybody aligned and fill those gaps and those overlaps and all those things during the align stage. And then once you know what all the different people are doing and how you want things done, then you can move on to the next stage in this getting the whole organization organized. All right, so now you're finally ready to actually put the, pedal to the metal and start building and implementing some of this stuff. But where do you start, right? So that's why the third part of the map system is prioritize. I see it all the time. Clients come to me and they've started to build out systems. They've got something here, they got something there. It's all kind of just slapped together and they've been disjointed and unfocused. So prioritize is, where do we want to start? So what role in the business do we want to first build, systems, organization, processes around? Maybe it's yourself as, the owner, general manager, whatever it may be. Maybe it's your admin person, whoever. Where's the biggest bang for your buck, or where is the biggest problems or challenges that you're facing right now? So you want to start definitely with the important roles, probably top down. Most like typically you want to start with yourself and get yourself organized and realize that there's probably a bunch of tasks once you start writing them out, that, hey, this is really something I should not be doing, or hey, this is really like should be for the project managers, or this should be for the sales team, or whatever. And you can start to really kind of condense and focus your role and realize that this other stuff needs to go and be handled by your team. Once you have that priority of like roles and where you're going to start on one, move on to the next, get one like 80, 90%. It's never going to be 100% because there's always going to be a feedback loop and improvement over time. A good way to really get a picture of this is to build your org chart as well. If you've never had it like an organization chart, you've never made one, get one in place. Typically, it's going to be you, business owner, CEO at the top, and then under that is going to be your vice presidents, your management team. So this could be a VP of production, projects, whatever. You're going to have a financial, sales and marketing, those types of things, and then from there it's kind of branches down the pyramid, if you will, of organization chart. Really helpful to structure and organize the business. If you don't have an organization chart, how are you going to have an organized business? It just doesn't work automatically. This stuff does take some effort and time to put into it, as you can see. But if you do this in the right way, it can happen really fast, and it changes things night and day. You've probably seen it where you've walked into a company or you've seen a company that things are just organized. Everybody knows what they're doing, the business runs, there's great experience on the employee side, the client side, and life is good and they're profitable, right? And then there's the other businesses where things are unorganized, people don't really know what they're doing, culture's a mess, and it all stems from this being unorganized and not having these clear kind of charts and roles and responsibilities. If you want help with this stuff, we have built all of this out. We've got SOPs, documents, templates. We've got this structure. We provide the mentoring and support to get contracting businesses organized and just rapidly systemize their businesses to get you all those things you started your business for in the first place. Stop putting out fires, get profitable, enjoy winning for a change, winning business, good culture. All this stems from having the proper systems and everything in place. So if you want to help with that, check out the links in the description below. There are free resources there, as well as ways to reach out to us. Drop a comment below. We'd be happy to help you with systemizing your general contracting business. All right, moving on to point number 4 here. My personal favorite, the systems. So systemizing maps. The S is for systems, because this is now you've got the structure, you've got the organization, you've got the documentation of like what sort of process is going to go to place. Now you need to build the system, delegate it, automate it, figure out the decisions that need to be made. And this is how you step out of the day to day. This is how you stop becoming the firefighter. It feels good to be that hero in your business that's taking care of everything, wearing all the hats, fixing all the problems. But that's no way to run a business. It's probably got you stressed out and it's inefficient and ineffective. So first thing you want to do is any processes that you can automate. There's a lot of good technology and you probably aren't even aware of all the great stuff that there is nowadays to automate that probably 10 to 20%, especially if like the admin stuff, project management, any sort of office type work or information communication, probably those type of roles that have that, a good 10 to 20% of their job could probably be automated and just handled with technology, plain and simple. So you've already organized so much and enabled your people to do more, enabled yourself to do more, taking up much less time. Everything that can't be automated, you want to streamline, figure out that process, create an SOP document. So this is a simple document, steps of like everything that needs to get done. For me, I like one SOP for one like role or function of the business. There's going to be one-off scenarios here and there, but typically speaking, you're going to have a financial management SOP. So anything to do with invoicing, accounts receivable, accounts payable, bookkeeping stuff, anything to do with finances goes in the financial SOP. You can have project management SOP. So anything to do with project management, scheduling, change orders, client communication, whatever it may be, that's going to go in project management SOP. So you, in the end of the day, you're not going to have like 100 SOPs. And that's another thing where a lot of people go wrong is you feel like you have to have like an SOP for every small little chunk of a job, but that's not the case. Figure out your big roles, create one SOP for that role. There's going to be a few like one-off scenarios or things that kind of don't, fit in the mold. This isn't, color inside the lines. Not everything's perfect. You may need one-off, SOPs for certain things, but generally speaking, that's all you need. And then create a training video. And you do not need to make the training video yourself. You definitely can, but whoever's doing that role, you can have them essentially do their job and make a training video, especially for any of the online stuff. Just hop on Zoom or whatever video conferencing software you want, share your screen, record yourself doing the work, the estimate, your admin person doing an invoicing run or whatever it may be. Create the training videos. Now you got the SOP, you got the training video. Anybody going into that role, it's very clear to them. These are the different processes you need to run. Here's the roles and responsibilities. You're going to have a separate document for roles, responsibilities, KPI tracking. This can get a little bit like built out, and this is what takes the longest time. Again, if you need help with this, this is what we do day in, day out with clients, helping them get all this stuff organized. We've already built it out, so it's just a plug and play, essentially taking your processes, fitting them into our already made documents, and then implementing them out to your team. So the implementation side of things, that can take additional time, and just realize that you can expect there to be some pushback. There's going to be some friction. If you're not willing to make changes in your business, nothing's going to get changed, and you're essentially going to be out of business probably sooner or later because changes are constantly happening, constantly need to be made, need to be improving every day, all day, and you can build the systems around that. So now that you know the map system, if you want to get really dialed in with your systems and know specifically how to start building these out, check out this next video here, all about building out the systems and systemizing your business for success.